Welcome to Calm Mind, where thoughts finally slow down. I'm so glad you found your way here tonight. You don't need to focus, fix anything, or understand everything you hear tonight. Just let the words pass through as you rest. This is a gentle microdose of calm. Tonight, we explore something that might feel strange at first, something that goes against everything you've been taught about self-improvement and personal growth and fixing yourself. What if nothing is wrong? Not nothing is wrong in the sense that life is perfect or that you don't face challenges or that difficult things aren't happening. But what if nothing is wrong with you? What if the fundamental premise you've been operating from, that you are a problem requiring a solution, is false? What if you're not broken? What if you don't need fixing? What if the thing that needs to change is not you, but the belief that you need changing? If this journey brings you some peace, understanding, or permission to be gentler with yourself, like and subscribe. This helps guide others to this peaceful space. Leave a comment on what brought you here tonight. Your story might be exactly what another restless mind needs to hear. Return whenever you need. Remind yourself about these truths. But for now, in this moment, your only task is to be here. Let your muscles release their tension. Feel your eyelids becoming pleasantly heavy. Allow your thoughts to slow and soften as we begin this journey together. This might bring up resistance. Part of you might be cataloguing right now all the things that are wrong. Your anxiety, your struggles, your limitations, your failures, the ways you're not where you think you should be. But what if those aren't evidence of wrongness? What if they're just life? What if they're the normal human experience of being alive in a body, in a world that's often difficult, with a nervous system doing its best to navigate all of it? What if the problem isn't that these things exist, but that you've been taught to see them as problems? That you've internalized a narrative that says, If you're struggling, something is wrong with you. If you're not happy all the time, you need fixing. If life feels hard, you're doing it wrong. But that narrative is the problem, not you. The belief that you should be different, that's what's creating the suffering. The resistance to what is, that's what's exhausting you. The constant self-improvement project, that's what's preventing you from ever feeling at peace. So tonight, we explore a different possibility. The possibility that nothing is wrong. That you are exactly as you should be, given everything you've experienced, everything you're dealing with, everything you carry. That your struggles are not evidence of brokenness, but evidence of being human. And we explore what becomes possible when you stop trying to fix yourself. What opens up when you release the exhausting project of constant self-improvement? What peace might be available when you simply let yourself be, exactly as you are, without needing to be different? As you settle into whatever surface holds you right now, notice the relief that might come with even considering this possibility. That maybe you don't need fixing. That maybe the search for what's wrong is what's creating the problem. That maybe you can just be here, now, unfixed and whole. Breathe in slowly and breathe out longer. With each exhale, imagine releasing just a small portion of the need to fix yourself. Not all of it. That might feel too big. Just a little. Just for tonight. Just enough to rest. For the next 2.5 hours, you have permission to stop improving yourself. Permission to stop working on yourself. Permission to stop trying to be different, better, more. You can just be here, as you are, and that can be enough. This is not about giving up. This is not about never growing or changing. This is about recognizing that growth doesn't require the belief that you're currently wrong. That change can come from wholeness, not brokenness. That you can evolve without first condemning who you are right now. And for tonight, you don't even need to evolve. You can just exist. Breathe. Rest. Be exactly as you are without any pressure to be different. Nothing is wrong. Not with you. Not fundamentally. Not in a way that requires fixing. You're just a human being, navigating a human life, doing the best you can with what you have. And that's not wrong. That's just life. Before we explore where the belief that something is wrong comes from, let's first acknowledge the weight of carrying this belief. How heavy it's been. How exhausting. You've been walking through life with this background narrative. Something is fundamentally wrong. Maybe not consciously. Maybe not in words, but as a feeling, a sense, an underlying current of not okayness that colors everything. It affects how you wake up in the morning. Before you're even fully conscious, there's this vague sense of wrongness, something to worry about. Something to fix. Something that's not quite right. It affects how you move through your day. Every decision filtered through. Will this fix what's wrong? Will this make me better? Will this prove I'm okay? Every interaction examined for evidence. Am I doing this right? Am I being received well? Am I showing that I'm not as wrong as I fear? It affects how you go to sleep. Lying here in the dark, cataloguing everything that's wrong, everything that needs fixing, everything that should be different. The mental loop of inadequacy playing on repeat. This is exhausting. Not the challenges of life themselves. Those are real and they take energy. But this additional layer. This constant monitoring for wrongness. This perpetual self-assessment against an impossible standard of okayness. And tonight, just for tonight, what if you put that down? Not forever. Not as a permanent commitment. Just put it down for these hours. Let yourself rest from the story that something is wrong. Because maybe, just maybe, The wrongness you've been feeling isn't actually about you. Maybe it's about the story, the belief, the lens through which you've been seeing yourself. And maybe that lens is what needs examining, not you. So breathe out that weight. The weight of believing something is fundamentally wrong with you. It's been heavy. You've been carrying it for so long. And tonight, you can set it down. Just for now. Just to rest. Just to see what it feels like to exist without that weight pressing down on you. Notice what's available when you're not constantly scanning for wrongness. Notice the space that opens. Notice the gentleness that becomes possible when you're not internally criticizing yourself for existing. This might feel unfamiliar, strange, even, because the wrongness story has been with you for so long it almost feels like part of you. But it's not. It's just a story. And stories can be set down. So rest from it now. Let your body be held without needing to be better. Let your mind drift without needing to be improved. Let yourself simply exist, here, now, without the background hum of wrongness. Let's talk about how you learn to believe that something is wrong with you. Because that belief didn't come from nowhere. It was taught, carefully, repeatedly, from many different sources. Think back to childhood. How many messages did you receive about needing to be better? About not being good enough as you were? About needing to improve, behave better, try harder, be different? Maybe it was subtle. Why can't you be more like your sibling? You're so smart, but you're not applying yourself. You have so much potential, if only you'd. Each of these messages, however well-intentioned, carried the same core belief: as you are right now is insufficient. Or maybe it wasn't subtle at all. Maybe you were directly told you were wrong. Too loud, too quiet, too sensitive, too much, not enough. Maybe you learned that love and approval were conditional on being different than you naturally were. And then there was school. The constant evaluation. The grades that said, this is how you measure up, and here's all the ways you're falling short. The comparisons to other students. The sense that there was a right way to be, and you weren't quite hitting it. Then came the advertising. The multi-billion-dollar industry literally designed to make you feel insufficient so you'll buy products. Every ad carries the message: you have a problem, and our product is the solution. You're not attractive enough. Buy this. You're not successful enough. Buy this. You're not happy enough. Buy this. Social media amplified this to an unbearable degree. Now you're not just comparing yourself to people in your immediate environment. You're comparing yourself to carefully curated highlight reels of millions of people, all apparently living better lives, having more success, being happier, looking better, doing more. And the self-help industry. Oh, the self-help industry. Built entirely on the premise that you are insufficient and need improvement. Every book, every course, every guru promising that if you just follow their system, you can finally fix what's wrong with you. Even therapy, which can be genuinely helpful, often operates from a framework of pathology. What's wrong with you? What needs to be fixed? What disorder do you have? What's dysfunctional about your thinking, your behavior, your emotions? Layer upon layer upon layer of messages, all saying the same thing. Something is wrong with you. You are a problem. You need fixing. You are not okay as you are. And after years, decades, of absorbing these messages, of course you believe them. Of course you look at yourself and see problems. Of course you feel like you're not enough. Of course you're constantly trying to improve, to fix, to be different. You've been marinating in this belief system your entire life. It's the water you swim in. It's so pervasive you probably don't even see it as a belief system. It just feels like truth, like obvious reality. Of course something is wrong. Look at all your flaws, your struggles, your failures. But what if it's not truth? What if it's just a very successful piece of cultural programming? What if the entire premise, that you are insufficient and need fixing, is a lie designed to keep you consuming, striving, never quite arriving at okay. Because here's what's convenient about this belief. If you believe something is wrong with you, you'll keep buying solutions. You'll keep working on yourself. You'll keep consuming products, services, content, all promising to finally fix what's wrong. And you'll never quite get there, because the system isn't designed for you to arrive. It's designed to keep you in perpetual pursuit. There's always another level, always another thing to work on, always another way you're still not quite enough. Let's talk specifically about the industries that depend on you believing something is wrong. Because this isn't accidental. Your sense of wrongness is profitable. The beauty industry alone is worth hundreds of billions of dollars. And it functions by convincing you that your natural appearance is wrong. Too old. Wrong weight. Wrong skin. Wrong hair. Every ad is basically saying, "You're wrong, but our product can make you less wrong." The wellness industry has exploded in recent decades. Supplements, cleanses, optimization protocols, all marketed with the underlying message, your body is not functioning right. You need intervention. You need fixing. Your natural state is insufficient. The productivity industry, apps, planners, courses, systems, all promise to fix your insufficient output. You're not productive enough as you are. You're wasting time. You're not optimized. You need our system to become acceptable. Even the mental health industry, which does provide genuine help, sometimes gets co-opted by this narrative. Now you can pathologize any emotion. Sad. You might have depression. Anxious. You have an anxiety disorder. Can't focus. ADHD. Every normal human experience becomes a diagnosable condition requiring treatment. And all of this generates profit. Billions and billions of dollars made from your belief that you're insufficient, that you're wrong, that you need their product, their service, their solution to become okay. Now, to be clear, Some products and services are genuinely helpful. Therapy can be life-changing. Some health interventions are necessary. This isn't about rejecting all help. This is about recognizing the systemic encouragement of inadequacy, the cultural investment in keeping you believing you're not okay. Because if you believed you were fundamentally okay, you'd consume less. You'd strive less. You'd spend less money trying to fix yourself. And that doesn't serve an economy built on consumption. So when that voice in your head says something is wrong with me, ask, is that my genuine self-assessment? Or have I internalized messages from industries that profit from my insecurity? When you feel like you need to be better, different, more, whose interest does that serve? Usually not yours. Usually the interests of those selling you the solution to your manufactured inadequacy. This doesn't mean you're a victim. This means you have a choice. You can choose to stop believing the narrative. You can choose to question whether you really need all this fixing. You can choose to see yourself as already okay, regardless of what marketing messages tell you. And that choice, that radical choice to believe you're already okay, that's not just personal. It's political. It's refusing to participate in systems that profit from your pain. It's revolutionary in a culture built on manufactured inadequacy. So tonight, opt out. Refuse the message. Decline the belief that something is wrong. You are not a problem requiring a product. You're a human being, already whole, already enough, already okay. Let's look at how this works. You identify something wrong with you. Let's say your anxiety. So you work on it. You read books, try techniques, maybe go to therapy. And maybe it helps. Maybe your anxiety decreases. But does that make you feel like you've finally arrived at nothing is wrong? Rarely, because now you notice something else. Your productivity isn't great, or your relationships need work, or your body isn't what you want it to be. There's always something else wrong. The target keeps moving, because the real issue isn't any specific flaw. The real issue is the belief that you should be flaw-free, that you should have everything figured out, that being human, messy, imperfect, struggling sometimes, is wrong. And that belief is impossible to satisfy, because you're human. You will always have struggles. You will always have limitations. You will always have areas where you're not excelling. That's not a bug. That's a feature of being a finite creature with finite energy and attention in an infinite world of possible ways to be. But the belief that something is wrong doesn't allow for that. It says, any struggle, any limitation, any imperfection is evidence that you need more work, more fixing, more improving. So you never rest. You never arrive. You never get to feel like you're okay. Because the standard is perfection, complete freedom from struggle, complete optimization, complete having it all together. And that's not achievable. It's not even desirable. But it's the standard you're measuring yourself against. What if you stopped? What if you just refused to play? What if you said, no, actually, I'm not going to keep searching for what's wrong with me. I'm going to operate from a different premise entirely. What would that premise be? Maybe something like, I am a human being having a human experience, and that includes struggles, imperfections, and limitations. And none of that means something is wrong with me. It just means I'm alive. Here's a question worth sitting with. Who benefits from you believing something is wrong with you? Not you. You don't benefit. This belief makes you anxious, exhausted, never at peace. It keeps you in a constant state of inadequacy and striving. It prevents you from ever fully relaxing into your life as it is. So who does benefit? The industries that sell you solutions. The companies that profit from your insecurity. The systems that need you to keep consuming, keep producing, keep improving, never stopping long enough to question whether you actually need all this fixing. The beauty industry benefits. If you believed you were already beautiful, you'd stop buying so many products. The fitness industry benefits. If you believed your body was already acceptable, you'd stop seeking transformation. The self-help industry benefits. If you believed you were already okay, you'd stop buying solutions. Even your workplace might benefit. If you believed you were enough as you are, you might set boundaries. You might work less. You might prioritize your well-being over productivity. And that doesn't serve a system that needs maximum output from you. So when you believe something is wrong with you, when you're constantly trying to fix yourself, that's not just a personal issue. It's a systemic issue. You've internalized narratives that serve others' interests, not your own. And recognizing this doesn't mean you're a victim. It means you can make a different choice. You can choose to stop believing the narrative. You can choose to operate from a different premise. You can choose to see yourself as already whole, already okay, already enough, even with all your very human imperfections. This is radical. In a culture built on self-improvement and optimization, choosing to believe you're already okay is revolutionary. It's refusing to participate in the system that profits from your inadequacy. And it's not easy, because the belief is everywhere. But it's possible. And it starts with questioning, what if nothing is wrong? What if this whole framework is the problem, not me? Here's a different question. What if the way you feel, the struggles, the anxiety, the imperfection, is just what being human feels like? What if it's not evidence of something wrong, but evidence of being alive? Because humans struggle. All of them. Every single person you've ever met, will ever meet, has met, is struggling with something. That's not individual pathology. That's the human condition. Humans feel anxiety because we have nervous systems designed to detect threat, and we live in a complex world where threats are real and perceived threats are constant. Feeling anxious doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're a nervous system doing its job, maybe a bit over-enthusiastically, but still doing what it evolved to do. Humans feel sad sometimes, because we love people and lose them, because we have hopes and they don't always materialize, because life includes difficulty, disappointment, grief. Feeling sad doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It means you're human, with a heart that feels things. Humans have bodies that age, that get sick, that don't always cooperate with what we want to do. That's not personal failure. That's biology. That's being a physical creature subject to physical laws. Humans have minds that wander, that worry, that fixate, that sometimes spiral. That's not malfunction. That's how minds work. They're pattern-seeking, threat-anticipating, meaning-making machines. Of course, they generate difficult thoughts sometimes. That's their job. Humans have limitations, energy limitations, time limitations, capacity limitations. We can't do everything. We can't be everything. We can't optimize every area of life simultaneously. That's not personal inadequacy. That's reality. But somewhere along the way, you learn to interpret all of this normal human experience as evidence that something is wrong with you. You learn to pathologize being human, to treat ordinary struggle as extraordinary failure, to see yourself as broken because you experience what every human experiences. What if you stopped doing that? What if you normalized struggle? What if you said, "Of course I feel anxious sometimes. I'm a human with a nervous system in an uncertain world. Of course I feel sad sometimes. I'm alive and life includes loss. Of course I have limitations. I'm finite." This isn't resignation. This isn't giving up. This is reality testing. This is recognizing that your struggles aren't unique evidence of brokenness, but common evidence of humanity. Let's talk specifically about your body. Because so much of the something is wrong belief gets directed there. Your body ages. This is not wrong. This is biology. This is what bodies do. But you've been taught to see aging as a problem, as something to fight against, as evidence that something's going wrong. Your body gets tired. This is not weakness. This is your body telling you it needs rest. But you've been taught to see tiredness as inadequacy, as something to overcome with willpower or caffeine or productivity hacks. Your body gets sick sometimes. This is not personal failure. This is immune systems encountering pathogens in a world full of microorganisms. But you might blame yourself. If only you'd eaten better, slept more, stressed less. As if illness is moral failure. Your body has a particular size and shape. This is not wrong. Bodies come in infinite varieties. But you've been taught there's a right way to look, and probably your body doesn't match it. So you feel wrong. You feel like your body is a problem requiring solution. Your body has needs for food, rest, movement, touch, pleasure. These needs are not excessive or embarrassing. They're just what bodies require. But you might judge yourself for having needs, for not being able to transcend basic physical requirements through enough discipline. And if your body is disabled or chronically ill or neurodivergent or in any way outside the narrow band of normal, the message that something is wrong intensifies. As if your body existing as it does is inherently problematic. But your body is not a problem. Your body is just a body, doing body things, aging, needing, changing, existing. None of this means something is wrong. What if you stopped warring with your body? Stopped seeing it as something that needs fixing, controlling, optimizing, disciplining? What if you just let it be a body? This doesn't mean you never take care of it. Of course you do things that support your health and well-being. But there's a difference between caring for your body from a place of appreciation and attacking your body from a place of disgust. There's a difference between nourishing yourself because bodies need nourishment and restricting yourself because your body is wrong and needs correcting. Your body is not wrong. It's not too much or not enough. It's not failing you or betraying you. It's just existing as a body exists. And that's not a problem. That's just reality. So tonight, let your body rest without judgment. Let it be heavy, tired, imperfect. Let it take up space without apologizing. Let it exist without needing to be different, better, more acceptable. Your body is not the problem. The belief that your body should be different, that's the problem. And you can release that belief. You can let your body just be. Here. Now. Exactly as it is. Feel the relief in that. The relief of not fighting your own flesh. The relief of not treating your body as an enemy that needs defeating. The relief of just inhabiting your body peacefully, without war. There's a concept you've probably absorbed. The idea of normal, and the belief that if you're not normal, something is wrong with you. But what is normal? Usually, it's a statistical average. Most people do this, feel this way, function like this. And if you don't, if you're more anxious, more sensitive, more anything, you're deemed abnormal, different, wrong. But normal is just average. It's not better. It's not right. It's just more common. And being uncommon doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It just means you're in a smaller group. About 20% of people are what's called highly sensitive. They process sensory information more deeply, feel emotions more intensely, need more downtime to recover from stimulation. That's not the majority. So it's not normal. But is it wrong? Or is it just a different way of being human? A way that comes with challenges. Yes, living in a world not designed for your particular nervous system is hard. But also with gifts, deep empathy, rich inner life, appreciation for subtlety. Different, not wrong. Some people need more sleep than average. Some people need more solitude. Some people need more structure, or less structure, or more novelty, or more routine. All of these variations are just variations, different ways of being human, none of them wrong. But we've been taught to see difference as deficiency. To see anything outside the narrow band of normal as pathology requiring correction. And that teaching makes people miserable. Because most of us, in some way, fall outside that narrow band. What if you granted yourself permission to be different without being wrong? To need what you need without shame? To function how you function without trying to force yourself into a normal that doesn't fit? This is just being human. And being human looks different for different people. Your particular way of being human, with your particular nervous system, your particular history, your particular needs, is not wrong. It just is. So much of the belief that something is wrong comes from should. You should be more productive. You should be less anxious. You should need less rest. You should be further along by now. Should, should, should. But where do these shoulds come from? Usually not from your actual experience of life. Usually from external standards. From what you think others expect. From cultural narratives about how people are supposed to be. From comparing yourself to others who may have completely different circumstances, resources, nervous systems. Should is violence against reality. It's saying, what is should be different. And that's exhausting. Because what is. You can work to change it. Yes. But the constant state of this shouldn't be happening creates unnecessary suffering on top of whatever is actually happening. What if you released the shoulds? Not all at once. That might feel too big. But just notice them. Notice when you're saying I should be different and ask, says who? Based on what? Is this actually true? Or is this just an internalized standard I'm measuring myself against? Maybe you should be exactly as you are. Maybe your anxiety is an appropriate response to your circumstances. Maybe your need for rest is legitimate. Maybe your pace is your pace, and comparing it to someone else's is meaningless. Maybe nothing about you needs to be different. Maybe you just need to stop demanding that you be different. Maybe the problem is the should, not the is. There's an important distinction that gets lost when we believe something is wrong. The difference between pain and problem, between what hurts and what's broken, between difficulty and effectiveness. Pain is part of life. It's unavoidable. You will experience physical pain, emotional pain, psychological pain. You will lose people you love. You will face disappointment. You will struggle sometimes. This is not optional. This is what being alive includes. But pain being present doesn't mean something is wrong. It just means you're alive and life includes pain. The problem comes when you add a second layer, the belief that feeling pain means you're broken, that struggling means you're failing, that difficulty is evidence of personal defectiveness. That second layer, that's what creates the real suffering. Not the pain itself, but your interpretation of the pain as proof that something is wrong with you. Think about physical pain for a moment. If you break your leg, it hurts. That's pain. But you don't think something is fundamentally wrong with me as a person because my leg is broken. You think my leg is injured and needs healing. The pain is information, not identity. But with emotional or psychological pain, we don't do that. We collapse the pain into identity. I feel anxious becomes I am an anxious person. Something is wrong with me. I'm struggling right now becomes I'm a struggling person. I'm broken. We make the pain mean something about our fundamental adequacy. What if you separated these? What if you said, I'm in pain right now, and that's hard, but it doesn't mean I'm broken. It just means I'm experiencing pain, which is part of being human. This doesn't make the pain go away, but it removes the second layer of suffering, the shame, the self-judgment, the belief that feeling this way means something is wrong with you. There's an important distinction between healing and fixing. They're not the same thing, though we often confuse them. Fixing implies something is broken. Healing implies something is wounded. And the approach to each is completely different. When you try to fix yourself, you're operating from a belief in fundamental brokenness. You're trying to repair something defective. You're trying to become normal, acceptable, not broken. And that energy is harsh. It's self-critical. It says you're wrong and need correction. But when you approach yourself with healing, you're acknowledging wound without claiming brokenness. You're recognizing that difficult things happened, and those things left marks, and those marks need care and time. Not fixing. Healing. Healing doesn't demand that you become different. It honors where you are. It says you've been through something hard, and that makes sense, and you need gentleness and time. Healing is compassionate. Fixing is critical. Think about a physical wound. When you cut yourself, you don't fix it. You clean it, protect it, give it time. You trust that your body knows how to heal itself. You support the healing process, but you don't force it. You don't shame the wound for existing. Emotional and psychological wounds work similarly. They need acknowledgement, care, time. They don't need fixing. They need healing. And healing happens on its own timeline, in its own way, when conditions support it. But our culture doesn't have patience for healing. It wants fixing. Quick, efficient, measurable. It wants you back to productive quickly. It doesn't want to hear that healing takes time, that some wounds never fully close, that being wounded doesn't mean being broken. So you might be trying to fix things that actually just need healing. You might be harsh with yourself when you need gentleness. You might be demanding transformation when you just need time and space to metabolize what you've experienced. What if you shifted from fixing to healing? What if you ask not how do I fix this, but what does healing need? What would change? Probably you'd be gentler with yourself. Probably you'd have more patience. Probably you'd stop demanding immediate resolution and start allowing gradual integration. Probably you'd stop seeing yourself as broken and start seeing yourself as someone who's been through difficulty and is processing that difficulty in very human ways. Healing doesn't mean everything goes back to how it was before. Sometimes healing means integrating what happened, living with scars, being changed by experience. And that's okay. That's not failed fixing. That's successful healing. So if you've been trying to fix yourself, maybe stop. Maybe shift to healing instead. Maybe offer yourself the gentleness and time that healing requires. Maybe trust that you're not broken, you're healing. And healing is not a problem. It's a process. Let yourself be in that process now. Not demanding that you be fixed. Just allowing yourself to heal, slowly, gently, in your own time, without judgment, without urgency, just healing. When you believe something is fundamentally wrong with you, you focus your energy on fixing yourself, on becoming different, on self-improvement and personal transformation. But often, what actually needs attention isn't you. It's your circumstances. It's your job that demands too much. It's your relationship that's draining you. It's your living situation that doesn't support your well-being. It's the chronic stress you're under that has nothing to do with personal deficiency and everything to do with impossible conditions. When you're exhausted from working 60-hour weeks, the problem isn't that you lack energy management skills. The problem is you're working 60-hour weeks. When you're anxious because you can't afford your rent, the problem isn't your anxiety disorder. The problem is housing insecurity. But it's easier to focus on fixing yourself, because that feels more in your control. You can't always change your circumstances, but you can work on yourself endlessly, and the culture encourages this. It's always about personal responsibility, personal growth, personal optimization. Rarely does the culture say, maybe the system is broken and you're responding appropriately. Maybe your struggle isn't personal pathology but reasonable response to unreasonable demands. Maybe you don't need fixing. Maybe your circumstances need changing. This doesn't mean you're powerless, but it means recognizing that not everything that's difficult in your life is your fault or your responsibility to personally overcome through enough self-improvement. Sometimes the compassionate response to your struggle isn't "what's wrong with me that I can't handle this?" but "what's wrong with this situation that it's so hard to handle?" And sometimes the answer is, change the situation if you can. Set boundaries. Leave. Reduce. Say no. Not. Keep trying to make yourself strong enough to endure the unendurable. There's another useful distinction: problems versus predicaments. Problems have solutions. Predicaments don't. They just have to be lived through. Much of what you're experiencing might not be problems requiring solutions. They might be predicaments requiring acceptance and navigation. And when you treat a predicament like a problem, when you keep searching for the solution that will make it go away, you create unnecessary suffering. Aging is a predicament. You can't solve it. You can only navigate it with as much grace as possible. But if you treat it like a problem, constantly fighting it, viewing every sign of aging as evidence of failure, you suffer more. Nervous system is a predicament. You can learn to work with it, to accommodate its needs, to create conditions that support it. But you can't solve it away. And if you keep trying to become less sensitive, if you keep treating your sensitivity as a problem that needs fixing, you're fighting reality. Loss is a predicament. When someone dies, there's no solution. You can't fix it. You can only grieve it, live with it, let it reshape you. But if you treat grief like a problem, trying to get over it quickly, viewing your sadness as evidence that you're not healing right, you complicate the process. So much of what you might be treating as problems, as evidence that something is wrong that needs fixing, might actually be predicaments. Aspects of reality that simply need to be accepted and navigated rather than solved. And there's relief in recognizing this, because if it's not a problem, you can stop trying to fix it. You can stop judging yourself for not having solved it. You can just be with it, navigate it, let it be what it is without needing it to be different. The wisdom in your struggles. Here's something else to consider. What if your struggles aren't evidence of wrongness but evidence of wisdom? Your anxiety might be your nervous system accurately detecting that your life contains real stressors and you need to make changes. That's not malfunction. That's good information. Your depression might be your psyche shutting down because you've been pushing too hard for too long and you need rest. That's not broken. That's a protective response. Your inability to focus might be your brain telling you that the task you're trying to do isn't aligned with your actual interests or values. That's not deficiency, that's discernment. Your body refusing to cooperate with what you're demanding of it might be wisdom saying you're exceeding your limits. That's not failure, that's boundary setting. When you assume something is wrong with you, you override these signals. You try to push through, fix yourself, become someone who doesn't have these responses. But what if the responses are exactly right? And what needs to change is how you're living. This doesn't mean every struggle contains clear wisdom. Sometimes pain is just pain. But it means staying open to the possibility that your struggles might be trying to tell you something important, and there's something wrong with me might be drowning out the actual message. What if nothing is wrong with you, and your system is just trying to get your attention, trying to tell you something needs to change? Not in you, but in how you're living? What if listening to that is wiser than trying to fix yourself into someone who can tolerate the intolerable? Your struggles might be the wisest part of you, speaking the only way it can. And believing something is wrong with you might be preventing you from hearing what it's trying to say. What if nothing is wrong, and life is just messy? What if the mess isn't evidence of your failure, but evidence that you're living? Perfectionism is one of the main ways the belief that something is wrong manifests. If things aren't perfect, if your house isn't clean, if your work isn't flawless, if your life isn't Instagram worthy, something must be wrong. With you, with your discipline, with your ability to get it together. But life is messy, inherently, unavoidably messy. Things pile up, plans fall through, mistakes happen, people are complicated. Emotions are unpredictable. Bodies are inconvenient. Nothing ever goes exactly as planned. That's not personal failure. That's just what life is. But when you believe something is wrong if things aren't perfect, you spend your entire life fighting against reality, trying to control what can't be controlled, trying to perfect what can't be perfected, exhausting yourself in service of an impossible standard. What if you let life be messy? What if you stop trying to have it all together and just let yourself be a person living a life, with all the inherent chaos that includes? Your house doesn't need to be magazine perfect. It can be lived in. Dishes in the sink aren't moral failure. They're just dishes, and you'll get to them when you get to them. Laundry piling up isn't evidence that you're not adult enough. It's evidence that you've been busy living your life and laundry isn't the priority right now. Your work doesn't need to be flawless. Good enough is actually good enough. Mistakes don't mean you're incompetent. They mean you're human, doing human work in human ways, which includes getting things wrong sometimes. Your emotions don't need to be perfectly regulated. You're allowed to feel messy feelings. You're allowed to cry at inconvenient times. You're allowed to be irritable when you're tired. You're allowed to feel complicated things about complicated situations. None of this means you're emotionally deficient. Your relationships don't need to be conflict-free to be good. Disagreements happen. Misunderstandings occur. People you love disappoint you sometimes, and you disappoint them. That's not relationship failure. That's what happens when imperfect humans try to connect with other imperfect humans. Your life doesn't need to look like anyone else's. It doesn't need to be impressive or enviable or even particularly coherent. It can be messy and small and ordinary, and that's okay. That's most people's lives, actually. The difference is whether you're at peace with that or constantly ashamed of it. There's this pressure to have it all together, to be functioning perfectly across all domains. Career going well, relationships thriving, body optimized, house clean, hobbies maintained, social life active, personal growth happening, mental health stable. But that's not how life works. You have finite energy and attention. When you're focusing on one area, others naturally get less attention. When you're going through difficulty in one domain, you probably can't also be excelling in all the others. Having it all together is a myth. It's a performance. Even the people who look like they have it together, they don't. Not really. They're just good at hiding the mess, or they've chosen which messes to prioritize, or they're struggling in ways you can't see? What if you stopped trying to have it all together? What if you let some things be messy so you could give attention to what actually matters right now? What if you said, right now, I'm dealing with a health issue, so my house is messy and my social life is non-existent, and that's okay. Different seasons require different priorities. What if you stopped judging that as failure and started seeing it as appropriate allocation of limited resources? Or, right now, I'm putting energy into my career, so my personal relationships are getting less attention than ideal, and I'm okay with that for this season. Not forever, not as a permanent state, but for now, this is where my focus is, and I'm not going to shame myself for not being able to do everything simultaneously. This isn't about lowering standards or giving up. It's about being realistic about what's actually possible with the energy and time you have. It's about choosing consciously rather than trying to do everything and then feeling like a failure when you can't. Life is messy. Your life is messy. That doesn't mean something is wrong. It means you're alive, and life includes mess, and that's okay. There's a concept in parenting called good enough mothering. It was developed by a pediatrician who noticed that perfect parenting isn't just impossible, it's actually not even optimal. Children don't need perfect parents. They need good enough parents who love them, do their best, and inevitably mess up sometimes. This concept applies beyond parenting. You don't need to be a perfect person. You need to be a good enough person. Good enough is actually good enough. You don't need to be perfectly productive. Good enough productivity, getting the important things done, even if not optimally, is fine. You don't need to be perfectly healthy. Good enough health, taking reasonable care of yourself most of the time, is fine. You don't need to be perfectly anything. But perfectionism whispers that good enough is failure. That if you're not striving for perfect, you're settling. That if you're not constantly improving, you're stagnating. What if good enough is actually an achievement? What if maintaining good enough while dealing with everything life throws at you is impressive? What if the real failure is exhausting yourself in pursuit of perfect and never actually being present to your imperfect but real life? Good enough means, I did what I could with what I had. I'm not perfect, but I showed up. I made mistakes, but I tried. I didn't do everything, but I did enough. And that's actually okay. What if you gave yourself permission for good enough? What if you stopped demanding perfect and started accepting good enough in your work, your relationships, your self-care, your everything? Perfect is impossible. Good enough is achievable. And good enough might actually be where peace lives. In the acceptance that you're doing okay, even if not perfectly. That your life is okay, even if messy. That you're okay, even if not optimized. There's a Japanese aesthetic principle called wabi-sabi. It's the appreciation of imperfection, impermanence, and incompleteness. And it offers a radically different way of seeing. In wabi-sabi, a cracked tea bowl is not ruined. It's beautiful specifically because of the crack. The crack tells a story. It shows the bowl has been used, has lived, has history. The crack is not a flaw to be hidden. It's a feature to be appreciated. In Japan, there's a practice called kintsugi, repairing broken pottery with gold. The breakage is not disguised. It's highlighted. The cracks are filled with gold, making them the most beautiful part of the object. The piece is more valuable after breaking than it was before. This is the opposite of how Western culture approaches imperfection. In the West, imperfection is failure, something to hide, fix, eliminate. We want things pristine, perfect, new. We throw away what's broken rather than highlighting the break. And we apply this same harsh standard to ourselves. Our cracks, our struggles, our traumas, our difficulties, we see as flaws, as things that make us less valuable, as damage that decreases our worth. But what if your cracks are your kintsugi? What if the places where you broke and healed are actually the most beautiful parts of you? What if your struggles gave you depth, compassion, wisdom that you wouldn't have otherwise? What if your imperfections aren't flaws but evidence of a life fully lived? Evidence that you've taken risks, experienced deeply, felt intensely? Evidence that you're real, not a perfectly curated performance. Think about the people you love most deeply. Do you love them because they're perfect? Or do you love them including their imperfections? Maybe even because of some of their imperfections, the quirks, the vulnerabilities, the places where they're beautifully, messily human? Why would you be different? Why would you need to be perfect to be lovable when no one else does? Why hold yourself to a standard you don't apply to others? Your imperfections make you real. Your struggles make you relatable. Your vulnerabilities make you human. And being human, fully, messily, imperfectly human, is not wrong. It's beautiful. So maybe stop trying to eliminate your imperfections. Maybe start appreciating them. Maybe see them as your kintsugi, the places where you broke and healed, and now there's gold. Maybe your anxiety taught you empathy. Maybe your depression taught you how to sit with people in darkness. Maybe your struggles taught you strength you didn't know you had. Maybe your imperfections are actually your most valuable features. This doesn't romanticize suffering. It doesn't mean you had to suffer to be valuable. It just means, since you did suffer, since you do struggle, since you are imperfect, maybe that's not the tragedy you think it is. Maybe it's just human. Maybe it's even beautiful. So tonight, let yourself be imperfect without shame. Let yourself be cracked and healing. Let yourself be the kintsugi bowl, more beautiful for having been broken, more valuable for having been repaired. You're not damaged goods. You're not less than because you're not perfect. You're a human being who's lived a human life, and that's left marks, and those marks tell your story. And your story is not wrong. It's just yours. And it's beautiful. There's a particular kind of peace that comes from accepting mess, from stopping the constant fight against entropy, from letting things be imperfect without needing to immediately fix them. When you walk into your house and see the clutter, and instead of spiraling into shame about what it means about you, you just think, yeah, it's messy, I'll deal with it later. That's peace. When you make a mistake at work and instead of catastrophizing about your incompetence, you just think, oops, I'll fix it. That's peace. When you feel anxious and instead of panicking about feeling anxious, you just think, I'm feeling anxious right now. It's uncomfortable, but it's okay. That's peace. When you're not where you thought you'd be by now, and instead of condemning yourself, you just think, this is where I am, and that's okay. That's peace. This peace doesn't come from having everything together. It comes from being okay with not having everything together. It comes from releasing the belief that mess means failure. It comes from accepting that life is messy and you're messy, and that's just how it is. And in that acceptance, there's so much relief, because you can finally stop exhausting yourself trying to be perfect. You can finally just be messy, imperfect, struggling sometimes, doing okay other times, always human, never perfect, and somehow that being enough. What happens when you stop trying to fix yourself? What becomes possible when you release the constant self-improvement project? First, space. So much space. All the energy you were spending on identifying problems and implementing solutions and monitoring progress and judging yourself for not progressing fast enough, all of that energy becomes available for other things. For just living. For being present. For noticing what you actually feel instead of immediately trying to change it. For enjoying moments instead of treating every moment as an opportunity for optimization. There's relief in it. Deep, profound relief. The relief of putting down a heavy burden you've been carrying for so long you forgot you were carrying it. You don't have to be better. You don't have to be working on yourself. You don't have to be improving. You can just be here, now, as you are. And that being enough. This doesn't mean you never change. Humans change naturally. You're not the same person you were 10 years ago, and you won't be the same person 10 years from now. Change is inevitable. Growth happens organically when conditions support it. But there's a difference between organic growth that comes from living and learning, and forced transformation that comes from believing you're currently insufficient. One is natural. One is violent. When you stop trying to fix yourself, change can happen from a different place. Not from shame or inadequacy, but from curiosity or desire. Not because you have to be different, but because you want to explore something new. Not because you're wrong now, but because you're interested in what might be possible. That kind of change is gentler, more sustainable, more aligned with who you actually are rather than who you think you should be. When you stop focusing on fixing yourself, you might discover what you actually need. And often, what you actually need isn't more discipline or better habits or personal transformation. It's simpler than that. You might need rest. Real rest. Not earned rest. Not optimized rest. Just rest. Permission to stop. Permission to do less. Permission to not be productive for a while. You might need connection. Real connection. Not networking or social obligations, but genuine intimacy with people who accept you as you are. People you don't have to perform for. People who aren't trying to improve you. You might need play. Activities you do just because they're enjoyable, not because they're productive or self-improving. Things that serve no purpose except bringing you joy. You might need space, room to breathe, freedom from constant demands. Time alone without guilt about being selfish. You might need acceptance from yourself, primarily. Acceptance that this is who you are, this is where you are, this is your life, and it doesn't need to be dramatically different to be okay. None of these are things you can achieve through self-improvement. They're things you can only receive through self-acceptance, through stopping the fight against yourself and just letting yourself be. Here's something interesting. Often, change becomes easier when you stop trying to force it. When you accept yourself as you are, you paradoxically become more able to grow. Because growth from acceptance is different than growth from shame. When you're trying to change because you hate who you currently are, you're fighting yourself the whole way. Part of you wants to change, but part of you resists because change feels like an admission that you were wrong before. But when you accept who you are now, when you truly believe there's nothing fundamentally wrong with you, change becomes less charged. You can try new things without them being a referendum on your worth. You can work toward goals without your entire sense of adequacy riding on whether you achieve them. You can grow because you want to, not because you have to. And that's so much more sustainable. Because you're not motivated by avoiding the shame of staying the same. You're motivated by genuine interest in where you might go. The paradox is, you have to believe you're okay now to actually be able to change. You have to accept where you are to be able to move forward. Fighting against where you are just keeps you stuck in the fight. So letting go of the belief that something is wrong doesn't mean you become static or stagnant. It might actually free you to grow in ways that feel natural and authentic rather than forced and shame-driven. For many people, the self-improvement project has become identity. I'm someone who's working on myself. I'm growing. I'm evolving. I'm becoming. And there's a fear, if I stop that project, who am I? Maybe you're just a person, living a life. Having experiences, sometimes struggling, sometimes thriving, always just being human. Maybe you don't need the narrative of constant growth to be valuable. Maybe you don't need to be always becoming to matter. Maybe you can just be exactly as you are right now, and that's enough. Maybe your worth isn't in your trajectory but in your existence. Not in where you're going but in that you are. Not in your potential but in your present reality. This might feel like a loss at first. Because the improvement project, even though it's exhausting, also feels purposeful. It gives you something to do, something to work toward, a sense of forward motion. But what if you replace that with something gentler? Not becoming, but being. Not striving, but existing. Not improving, but living. What if your purpose isn't to become better, but to be present? What if your goal isn't optimization, but connection? With yourself, with others, with life as it actually is. Who are you without the project of fixing yourself? Maybe you're someone who's free, free to just live, free to be imperfect, free to struggle without shame, free to exist without justification. Maybe you're someone who's finally at peace, not because everything is perfect, but because you've stopped requiring perfection. Not because you've fixed all your problems, but because you've stopped believing you're a problem. Maybe you're just you, beautifully, messily, imperfectly you, and maybe that's exactly right. When you release the belief that something is wrong, when you stop the constant self-improvement project, something clarifies. What actually matters becomes more visible. Because when you're busy fixing yourself, your attention is consumed by the fixing, by strategies and techniques and trying to be better. You don't have much attention left for anything else. But when you stop fixing, attention becomes available, and you can actually look at your life and ask, what matters? Not what should matter, not what you think is supposed to matter, but what actually matters to you in your lived experience. Maybe it's not productivity. Maybe it's not optimization. Maybe it's not being impressive or successful or having it all together. Maybe what matters is connection. Real, genuine, vulnerable connection with people who see you as you are. Not people you're performing for. Not relationships where you have to hide your struggles. But people you can be real with. Maybe what matters is presence. Actually being here, in your life, experiencing it as it happens. Not always in your head planning or analyzing or trying to fix. Just here, noticing, feeling, being alive to your own life. Maybe what matters is kindness to yourself, primarily, and to others. Not achievement or optimization, but gentleness, compassion, treating yourself and others with care. Maybe what matters is beauty, noticing it, creating it, allowing yourself to be moved by it. Not productive beauty, not monetizable beauty, just beauty for its own sake. The way light falls through a window, the sound of rain, a moment of stillness. Maybe what matters is meaning, not meaning from accomplishment or status, but meaning from showing up to what you care about, from living according to your values, even imperfectly, from contributing in whatever small ways you can. When you're not consumed by fixing yourself, you can actually attend to these things. You can invest your energy in what actually nourishes you rather than what you think will make you acceptable. And here's what's interesting. When you focus on what actually matters, connection, presence, kindness, beauty, meaning, a lot of what you thought needed fixing stops feeling urgent. Because you're attending to your real needs rather than culturally imposed standards. Maybe you don't need to be more productive. Maybe you need more connection. Maybe you don't need to be more optimized. Maybe you need more presence. Maybe you don't need to fix your flaws. Maybe you need to cultivate kindness toward your very human self. So as you rest here tonight, let yourself consider, if nothing is wrong, if you don't need fixing, what would you do with all that freed attention? Where would you invest your energy? What actually matters to you? And maybe tomorrow, maybe soon, you can start living from that place. Not from what needs fixing, but from what actually matters. Not from deficiency, but from values. Not from wrongness, but from wholeness. Because nothing is wrong. You're already whole. And from that wholeness, you can attend to what actually matters. You can build a life based on what nourishes you, not what fixes you. And that life might be so much gentler, so much richer, than the life spent trying to be different. And so we arrive at rest. Not the rest you earn through self-improvement. Not the rest you get after you've finally fixed what's wrong. But the rest that comes from accepting that nothing is wrong. That you're not broken. That you're already whole. You've spent hours now considering this possibility. That maybe the problem isn't you. Maybe it's the belief that you're a problem. Maybe you're just a human being, living a human life, experiencing what humans experience, and none of that means something is wrong. Can you feel the relief of that? Even just considering it. The weight that lifts when you stop fighting yourself. The gentleness that becomes possible when you're not constantly demanding that you be different. If this journey has brought you some peace, understanding, or permission to be gentler with yourself, like and subscribe. This helps guide others to this peaceful space. Leave a comment on what brought you here tonight. Your story might be exactly what another restless mind needs to hear. Return whenever you need. Remind yourself about these truths. But for now, there's nothing left to do. No more analyzing. No more fixing. No more working on yourself. Just rest. Just being here, exactly as you are, and letting that be enough. Let yourself release the self-improvement project now. Not forever. You can pick it back up tomorrow if you want, but just for tonight, let it go. You don't need to be working on yourself in your sleep. Let go of the mental list of things that are wrong with you. Let go of the goals you haven't met. Let go of the ways you think you should be different. Just let all of it float away into the darkness. You don't need it right now. Right now, you just need to rest. And rest doesn't require you to be better first. Rest is available to you exactly as you are. Feel your body settling deeper. Feel the surface beneath you holding all of your weight. You don't have to hold yourself. You don't have to hold yourself together. You can just be held, just as you are, imperfect and human and exactly enough. Nothing needs to be solved tonight. No problems need fixing. No issues need resolving. You can just let everything be exactly as it is, without needing to change it. Your anxiety, if it's there, can be there. You don't have to fix it. Your sadness, if it's present, can be present. You don't have to make it go away. Your struggles, whatever they are, can exist without needing to be immediately overcome. Just for tonight, you can let it all be. Not because you're giving up, not because you don't care, but because solving everything isn't actually your job. Living is your job. And sometimes living means just being with what is, without needing to fix it. Nothing is wrong. Nothing needs fixing. You don't need fixing. You're just here, being human. And that's okay. That's more than okay. That's exactly right. You have permission. Permission to be exactly as you are. Permission to stop trying. Permission to stop improving. Permission to just be. Imperfect. Messy. Struggling sometimes. Human. And whole. Not broken. Never broken. Just human. Just you. And that's enough. That's always been enough. Rest now. Let sleep come. Or let wakefulness be. Either way. Nothing is wrong. You're okay. Right now. Exactly as you are. I'll see you soon for another episode of relaxation. May your rest be deep. And your dreams be gentle.